Good morning, dear students, and warm welcome to our 19th e-commerce online class. Today's our topic is about the electronic payment models. There are different types of electronic payment models is to be discussed in this chapter, and in the previous session we already discussed about the definition and the procedure, features, and two different types of or different systems of electronic payment, that is prepaid and postpaid systems. Here at the time of discussing about the types of electronic payment, there are 9 methods or 9 models of e-payment system is to be discussed. What are they? First one, electronic cash, electronic check, smart card, credit card, debit card, e-purse, internet banking, mobile banking, and e-wallets. So, these are the 9 models or 9 types of electronic payment system is to be studied in this chapter. But today I only take one topic, that is electronic cash. About this subject I want to discuss today about the features and the procedures and the advantages and disadvantages of electronic cash system. So, what is I want to give an introduction about the types of electronic system. In the traditional period, we can give the cash or check, or we can use the credit card or debit card while we purchase face to face while going to a shop and select a product and give a payment. But in the globalization or by using the e-commerce system, we must give the payment electronically. For this purpose, we must utilize the digital financial instruments like the digital cash, electronic checks, and the electronic cards or the e-cards, smart card or debit card or credit card, etc. So, the financial institutions must adequately support the customers and the merchants to make the effective and efficient way of electronic payments. So, the merchants and the consumers must use a convenient or cheap method for the proper and effectiveness of the e-commerce transaction, and there must be an secured or protected way of payment is to be done by the consumers and the merchants. For this purpose, we must utilize or use different types of payment systems. In this, first of all, in today's class, I want to discuss about the ECash or the electronic cash. Another name for the electronic cash, that is the digital or cyber cash. So, ECash or digital cash or cyber cash is to be discussed today. The electronic cash is a new concept to execute cash payment using computers connected with the network. So, the device which is used for the electronic cash payment, that is the computers, and in this computer we must have a network, a effective network facility is to be implemented or availed or installed in the particular computer. That device is used for the payment through the ECash or electronic cash. So, in this what is the meaning of ECash? It refers to a system which a person can securely pay for goods or service electronically without necessarily involving a bank to mediate the transaction. While I discuss about the participants, there is an important role played by the intermediary, that is a financial institution. But in the case of ECash, we can avoid a particular point, the financial institutions, that is the mediaries or intermediaries. So, in the case of ECash system, in which a person can securely, there is a security and get a protection or confidence to pay pay against the goods or service which are availed from the merchant. It is done through electronically without involving the financial institutions. So, the primary function of ECash is to facilitate transaction on the internet. So, ECash are also known as, I already discussed, another name for the ECash, that is digital cash or the cyber cash. So, in this ECash transaction, there are three parties involved in this ECash payment. What are they or who are they? Issuer, the consumer and the merchant. These are the three participants involved in the ECash. The issuer, not necessarily the financial institution, any can pay the or any person can act as a issuer. And then the consumer, the end user of the product or the service, and the merchant, who is the person accept the ECash for exchanging their products or the services. So, these are the three parties involved in the ECash payment. Who are they? Issuer, consumer and the merchant. Then what are the procedures to be followed for the ECash payment? First one is a consumer who wants to give an order or wants to purchase a product or service from a merchant. They must have a bank account. So, consumer needs to open a bank account. It may be a SBI account or a current account. Merchants who want to participate in ECash transaction need to have accounts with various banks in order to support the consumer's transactions. Likewise, a merchant also have a sound bank account. So, consumer and merchant have a bank account for giving the transaction and accepting the transaction. The banks on the other hand will handle both consumers and merchants accounts. Okay. That is the first procedure involved in the electronic cash payment. Then the next procedure, the second procedure, that is the consumer must download a software or download and install a software that name called the e-wallets. So, in their computer, that is the device used by the consumer for implementing the ECash payment. First of all, they must download and install a ECash or e-wallet for in their device, that is in the computer or laptop. So as to get digital cash, an electronic wallet is used by the consumer to create digital coins, and thus these created coins are sent to the bank to get signed. So, while opening a bank account, the consumer or the participants must transfer the payment by converting it into digital coins. These digital coins are transferred from one account to the another. It must be, the digital coins must be signed by the bank or any bank or any financial institution, and after the coins are signed, so it will be converted or equivalent to cash. This amount is transferred to the merchant, and the person or the consumers can withdraw the particular digital coins from any concerned bank. That is the second procedure. So, there must upload or download and install a particular e-wallets for ECash transaction in their device, example computer or laptop, and they convert the fund to digital coins, and this digital coins is transferred by the consumer to the merchant. For this purpose, they get an approval from the bank to be signed in the digital coins. And the third procedure, the person who are interested in to make a purchase and have a capacity to pay the digital signed coin, they will vendor cross verifies the bank's signature and perform the deposit. So, who is the vendor? He will, while getting a digital coin, they will cross verify the bank's signature and perform the deposit of the coins which are submitted or supported by the consumer. Then the creditor's account is credited the particular fund to the merchant's bank. While they get a green signal from the merchant's banks, the vendor will start the procedure. They will decide to transfer or deliver the products or services which are ordered by the consumer. So, from his bank account, that is the vendor's bank account, get an electronic purse. There are two types of systems, that is online system and offline system. The online system is known as the electronic purse, and the offline system which is called the ECash token. So, these are the two systems involved in the third procedure. What are they? Electronic purse and ECash token, that is online system and the offline system. This ECash can then be transferred to the merchants in exchange with the merchants' products or services. The ECash payment can be in terms of soft copy or in a software, like a software or token based one. The transactions via internet are normally encrypted one, so they does not malpractice or misutilize. For this purpose, the data is to be encrypted by the server or the service provider. Okay. So, this is the third step. First of all, they will utilize the offline or online system while the consumers transfer the digital coins to the merchant. The digital coins received by the merchant's bank, they will verify the scrutinize the security of the product, and after that they will transfer through the online system and the offline system, or in other words electronic purses or the ECash system. After the verification of the merchant's bank, it will be informed to the vendor. Okay. So, this is the third step. And the fourth step, upon receiving the ECash payment from the consumer to the merchant or the vendor, that is the confirmation received from the bank of the merchant, what is the action done by the merchant or the vendor? They will deliver the products or service to the consumers according to the purchase order received from the consumer. The merchant will then deliver the products or service and instruct the bank to deposit the agreed amount to the merchant's bank account. So, these are the four procedures involved in the ECash system. I will summarize the procedure. First of all, the consumer and merchant open a bank account, and the second one, the consumer must download and install an e-wallet software in their device like the computer or the laptop. By using the e-wallets, they will convert the fund into digital coins. Then the digital coin is transferred from the consumer's bank to the merchant's bank. Then the merchant's bank verified the fund and give a green signal to the merchant or the vendor. After that, they use the electronic purse, that is online, and ECash, that is the offline system. After that, the confirmation received from the merchant's bank to the vendor will deliver the product to the consumer. After that, the merchant's bank deposit the amount to their merchant's bank account. These are the procedures to be followed by the consumer's bank and the merchant bank while doing the ECash payment system. Then what are the properties involved in the ECash? The 6 properties involved in the ECash are security, portability, anonymity, transferability, divisibility, and the user-friendly. These are the 6 properties involved in the ECash. We want to discuss in detail about the properties. First one is the security. The consumers eager to get the protection or the security for their financial position or the financial instrument. They does not want to hijack or attack the hijackers for their financial properties or the financial instruments. So, the merchant and the service providers must give protection or security to the merchant and the consumer's financial position. For this purpose, security is one of the main concerns that needs to be considered while using our ECash system. So, the originality of the message being transferred from the consumer to the merchant, and the banks need to be secured and to avoid unauthorized individuals to interact the transaction or involved in the financial transaction done by the consumer and the merchant. So, they must ensure individual intercepting or changing the content of the message. So, the involved participants must ensure a high level security through the complex authenticated techniques, which means it should not be copied or reused or misused by the payer or the payee or anyone else. Okay, so that is about the security. The second property, that is the portability. The consumer and the merchant, they can portable the properties involved in the ECash system. So, similar to the conventional money where it does not depends on any physical location, that is an important factor. The transaction can be carried over computer networks and into storage devices and vice versa. So, the data which are involved in the ECash system, it can be stored in their devices or the input device which is used by the consumer and the merchant. And the third one, that is the anonymity, that is the consumer and the vendor can able to maintain the anonymity of the persons, that is the transaction carried out should not be traceable by the third party. So, the digital coins and the paper notes, there should not be any link or trace to individuals who uses the ECash for any transaction. This feature is needed in order to protect or secure the consumer's privacy from being monitored for the purpose of financial surveillance. So, that is the third property which is involved in the ECash system. And the fourth one, that is the transferability. It allows the consumers or the merchants to transfer the ECash from one person to another person without referring or without the interference of the financial institutions like the bank. Similar to conventional cash where coins or that means digital coins or paper notes can be transferred easily. ECash should be able to do the same. The user can spend the money received in payment without having the contact to a bank or any financial institution for authentication purpose. That is the fourth one. And the fifth one, that is the divisibility. We can divide the huge amount into small parts or like an installment system. That is an important feature or character involved in the ECash. It allows the digital cash to be subdivided into smaller denominations. That means it should possess the ability to make the change, where ECash can be divided into small denominations to allow small value transactions can be possible to avail by the consumer or the vendor. This is known as micropayment. So, divisibility is known as the micropayment. The challenge for divisible system is to be able to divide the ECash value to small values, where the total of the small ECash value is equal to the original value. Okay, that is the fifth property of ECash. And the last property is user friendly. It can easily approach this ECash. There is no authentic action to be supported. We can friendly approach the ECash. Both the payer and the payee should be able to use it easily, so that it would be widely accepted by the different types of vendors and the consumers. So, these are the 6 properties. What are they? Security, portability, anonymity, transportability and divisibility, and the last one user friendly. Okay. Then we want to discuss about the advantages and disadvantages. We already discussed it is user friendly and popular by using the vendors and the consumers. So, there must be different types of benefits or the merits involved while using the ECash. So, what are the advantages of using the ECash system? What are the benefits to be received by the users, like the vendor and the consumer? It is convenient to consumers. The consumers and the vendors will get consumer privacy. Consumers can purchase in small lots, and small denomination can be used for giving the ECash payments, and they will enter into global market. They will get the security, and it will lead to improve the efficiency of the bank. So, these are the benefits or the merits or the advantages of the ECash system. We will discuss in detail first point, that is convenience to the consumers. What is the convenient? Why we say that it is convenient to consumers using the ECash system? What is the reason? The consumers can carry cash, that it provides opportunity for e-commerce to take place in any location. Consumer only needs to have a smart card like a device to initiate the transaction, either online or offline. So, they must have only a smart card. They can approach this e-commerce transaction at any location or at anywhere in their room or in their office or any other place. They can use this ECash system for the e-commerce purchase. And second advantage is they will get or they will avail the security of the privacy, consumers' privacy. Anonymity implementation is the property which is applied to get the consumer privacy. So, anonymity implementation gives consumer a privacy to use ECash, just like a conventional coin, that is digital coins and paper notes. Consumers are also able to make transaction without the need of the third party verification, like a financial institutions interference. They can avoid the third party like any financial institution for the authentication or the verification. And third benefit, that is the purchase in small units. ECash environment enables consumers to purchase small items over the internet, which is difficult in other implementations such as credit cards. So, they can purchase small products or services by using our ECash system. And the fourth one, that is the global market. The merchant or the consumers can enter into a global market. That is, ECash provides an opportunity to expand their business across the globe without the barrier of different currencies. Even in the foreign currency or Indian currency, we can enter into the global market. That is an important advantage of ECash system. And the next advantages, that is the security. By using identified approach, merchant can be protected against the fraud or the malpractice or the hijack, because each transactions need verification from the financial institution or the bank. So, the merchant and the consumers get the security from the malpractices or the hijackers or the hackers of this by using the encrypted data. Next one, that is the last advantages, that is the efficiency of bank. We must improve the efficiency of the bank by giving or provide an efficient or effective service to the consumers and the merchants or the vendors. For the banks, ECash implementation does reduce the cost in maintaining in the bank, and therefore to increase the bank management efficiency, that is the effectiveness and the efficiency of the bank is to be improved. Furthermore, with the ECash, banks are now able to provide their service to the world via the internet more easily and effectively and efficiently. So, these are the advantages of ECash system to get by the consumers and the merchants. What are they? Convenient to consumers, and consumers get the privacy, purchase in small lots by the consumers, and global market, the merchants and the consumers can enter into global market by using different currencies, and the merchants and the consumers will get the security by using their encrypted data. Then the banks can provide an efficient and effective service to the consumers and the merchants. So, these are the advantages. Next, we want to discuss about the disadvantages of the ECash system. What are the disadvantages of the ECash system? That is existence of the counterfeiters, then lacks of infrastructure, computer literacy, less popularity, and the last one, difficulty in monitoring. These are the difficulties or the disadvantages or demerits of implementing the ECash system. We first of all discuss about the first disadvantages, that is effect in counterfeiters. In any field there are many types of counterfeiters. These counterfeiters will attack or will influence the customers and the merchants in a very bad way. That means one of the disadvantages of ECash is the existence of the counterfeiters who are able to recreate the ECash either stored in smart card or soft copy based. These are an important disadvantage of ECash system. They can recreate the counterfeiters can recreate the encrypted data which are stored in the smart card or the soft copied in their computer devices. Okay. All parties involved like the consumers, merchants or the issuer, that is means the bank or any institution which act as an issuer, are affected by these counterfeiters actively. Though this cannot be protected by the internet system. So, this is the important disadvantage of ECash system. The next one, the lack of infrastructure. Does not influence the infrastructures by the ECash system. That means or in other words, if the infrastructures is not supported in the ECash system. The number of internet users is increasing in number because the many consumers attracted this ECash because they will encourage the small lots purchase. So many users use this ECash system. So internet users is increasing in number. Many others who do not have the opportunity to own this system. So many people can attract this ECash. So many of them using this internet. So many parties involved or connected with this internet, these are the people who will be left behind even further with the introduction of the ECash. So this is the second disadvantages. And the third one, that is computer literacy. All people, all public does not know about the internet using literacy. So some people does not know how we will install the e-wallets, download and install e-wallets, and how we will transfer the fund to digital coins or paper notes. These are unknown by in today itself. Some public does not know about these types of the internet utilization. So this is a main drawback. Consumers need to learn the new things, new technologies, new updations about the device and about the technologies which are applied for utilizing the e-commerce system, like the installing the software on their devices like the computer or the laptop, and understand how ECash software operates. The installation and the operation facilities is to be learned by the users. This is the main drawback of the ECash system, that is the illiteracy of the computer technology and the computer operation. Then the next disadvantage or demerits of the ECash system, that is the less popularity. We already discussed a small lots of purchase is done by the users. So it is a popular one. In the same way, it is less popular because the illiteracy of the technology and the operation. So many people are still not using the ECash because of several reasons. What are the several reasons? Because or it leads to the, or it will badly affect the popularity. What are the reasons? First one, it relates to the fact that additional fee is to be charged for processing by the banks. That is the main reason. The banks charge an additional charge or additional bank charge to be taken from the users. That is a main drawback. And similarly or vice versa, it is charged by the banks also, the vendors also. So the merchants or the consumers must pay a bank charge, a small amount to the bank or the financial institution or the issuer. These additional charge need not happen in the conventional payment system. So that is a main drawback, but can amount to a huge sum in ECash scenario. That is the less popularity of the ECash system. And the last one, difficulty in monitoring. Other issue of ECash is money monitoring by the government. But in this case, in the case of ECash system, the government cannot monitor the digital coins or the paper notes which is used for the ECash by the consumers and the merchants. The government monitoring is very difficult. That is the main drawback of the encouraging by the government to implement the ECash system. With the conventional coins and the paper notes which is used for the ECash system, the government can monitor money flow to stabilize the economy. At the time of calculating the GDP or the NDP by the government, they cannot scrutinize or verify or identify the digital coins or the inflow and outflow of the money at the time of using the ECash system. But with the ECash, there is no foreseeable way for the government to control the flow of ECash in and out of the country. So it will does not give a clear picture while calculating the GDP and the NDP of the country. So the government does not encourage the ECash system. So these are the main drawbacks of the ECash system. What are they? First, we discuss about the existence of the counterfeiters, lack of infrastructure, computer literacy, less popularity and difficulty in monitoring. So I will wind up today's topic and today's session. Before that, I will give a summary about today's topic. We already discussed one payment system, that is electronic cash system. First of all, I discuss about what is the electronic cash payment and the procedures involved in the electronic cash and the properties involved in the ECash system. There are 6 properties involved in the ECash system. What are they? Security, portability, anonymity, transferability, divisibility and user-friendly. Then discuss about the advantages of the ECash, that is convenience to consumers, the consumer privacy, purchase in small lots, global market, security and efficiency of bank. Then I discuss about the disadvantages of ECash, that is existence of counterfeiters, lack of infrastructure, computer literacy, less popularity, difficulty in monitoring. Okay. I think all students can follow the topic about the e-commerce. Okay. Thank you.